This is Mayor Baraka, and welcome to the Mayor's blog. This week I'd like to address this picture that has gone viral, that people are making viral, a picture that I stood with some young girls at the breast cancer walk a few days ago, the annual walk that happens in our city. I was glad to be there and to support the breast cancer survivors in and around the city of Newark. And our young people, the young girls, asked me, as several hundred other people did, to take a picture with them. I did. I stood with them, and I'm completely happy to do so. One of the young girls put their poster up. I may not have looked at it, but you know what? It doesn't matter. I would have stood with them anyway. I support those young people, even though I may not agree with the expansion of the KIPP schools, especially during this economic challenge that we have in Newark public schools now. I think that is not well thought out, and I think that ultimately it's a problem for most of the kids who are still in traditional public schools in the city of Newark. It's going to cause a serious problem for them, and as parents in this city, we need to think about how our kids and other kids are doing in our city. And as the mayor, I'm responsible for all of the children in this city. And so I would stand with these young girls, but the really horrible thing about it is that people are using this picture with these young girls, with these children, and we've been doing this throughout, using children to push these kind of political fights that we're having as adults. There's somebody who even suggested that I take a picture with another group of kids and give them an alternative poster. I think that is horrible. Even to suggest that is horrible, to grab a bunch of kids and put them against another group of kids. I spoke at Luis Munoz Marin School today to a bunch of Black and Latino boys about success and being positive and graduating from high school and college and reading and intelligence, and to take those kids and juxtapose them against another group of kids in the charter schools is not only damaging to our city, it's damaging to these young people. I mean, ultimately, our job as adults is to protect and surround our children and make sure that they're getting a quality and decent education. There are fights that we have, but to use these fights, but to use our children in these fights is less than low. And it's an all-time low for many of us. I looked at even an article that Bob Braun had wrote, which is horrible to me to suggest that something has changed. My position has always remained the same. I've always been for traditional public schools, in public and in private. As a matter of fact, my statements against the expansion of what's happening at KIPP are real, and they stand. This is not emotional. It is not simply an ideological argument. It's an argument for the survival of our city, for the survival of Newark public schools, for survival of all of our kids here in Newark. And I have to make sure that all of the schools function in our community. And none of this will really stop until parents begin to talk to each other. Charter parents, traditional public school parents begin to talk to each other. Community activists and community residents talk to each other, and not succumb to the kind of media frenzy that's out here to pit us against one another, or succumb to big corporations that come in here and play off our ability or our need to have a job and pass out money so we can work and get out in the streets and attack other parents, or for them to come in here and focus on their brand at the expense of the rest of the kids in our schools. At the majority of our kids should suffer so they can advance their brand in the city of Newark. We have to really think about these things. And as parents, as community people, as residents that live in this town, we really have to come together and think about, how do we move this city forward? How do we create community schools in Newark that benefit all of our children, not just a few at KIPP or a bunch over here? How do we benefit all of our kids? And how do we do this together and not allow people to come in with money and gifts and media to create division? That is as old as slavery itself. To have people come in here and pit us against one another, to take a perfectly harmless picture that young girls took and to use that as political fodder is shameful. It's shameful. And while I don't agree with what the poster said, and I didn't see it in advance, I would stand with those kids again Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and twice on Sunday. I would do it again. They're beautiful young girls. All they want is school, they want happiness, they want future, and my job is to support that and not have a debate with young girls, or even snatch a poster out of their hand, or say, I'm not going to take a picture with you once I figure out what the poster said. The reality is, I support those girls, and I support the kids in Newark public schools. I support all of our babies, but I'm going to fight to make sure that traditional public schools are strong, that they remain open, and that they remain an option for all our children in all of our neighborhoods, because the only thing that's going to save our community is community schools, and that's what the argument should basically be about.